Hey everyone, quick note before today's Sloopcast. Um, I don't know what happened, but the video corrupted. Um, sorry?
I know everyone was looking forward to seeing Jared's new facial hair, but
Oh, I know. I make so many references to my facial hair, and then I guess we're at least doing this, so you can see it now. What else did we make reference to? We made reference to shirts,
yep,
so
shirts.
we got shirts. Yay! What other visual things did we make reference to, Kyle?
It showed Apollo at the end, but
Oh, okay. You know what? He's still bugging me. So here he is. Come here, Apollo. Come here. There's Apollo. Okay, so we did that. So there's another visual thing taken care of.
I think the other thing we talked about was about in the middle of the show. We talked about how about the possibility of SEC school going up north and Jared getting up and walking away.
We didn't get me. This is the first time I've ever left my chair during a podcast.
Yeah,
I made a whole visual show of it. Apollo just ripped my headphones out of my ears, so now I can't even hear anything anymore. It's been a disaster, you guys, but it still should be a fun episode to listen to. So we're still going to upload it because we frankly don't have time to re-record it. So I apologize for that. So we did think we'd at least come on here and hold on. I'm going to do the thing. Everyone, when I do, I'm going to Kyle, did I lose you? Can you say something for me?
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
Hold on. This is what I did. When we talked about Georgia potentially having to play in Cincinnati for a playoff game, I was like, oh, and then I got excited and I was like, oh, I got over here in the red lights, and then I came back over, and that's what I did. So when that's happening, just picture that's what was happening then. And was that all the visual elements from the show, Kyle?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. So we're about to we're going to shut up, and then the show's going to roll in as normal. And I don't know what I'm going to do visually for it yet. It might just be like the thumbnail, or I might add some stuff. I don't know what's going to happen, what I'm going to do visually with the show yet. But sorry. We'll try not to have the video corrupt on us in the future, which is not a possible thing to ask, but again, we at least thought we'd sit back down and record this intro for you. Just cause.
Enjoy the show nonetheless, though.
Yeah. You're about to hear about some sponsors. Make sure to check them out because they're rad. Bye.
This episode of the Sloopcast is brought to you by our good friends over at the Mad Canadian Barbecue Company. Mad Canadian Barbecue Company is an Ohio-based company located in Cary, Ohio. For those who do not know, that is Findlay area. Findlay, Ohio, Northwest Ohio. They usually say our seasons will take your barbecue from good to great. Wanted to name some seasonings. We don't typically say too much here, but I want to give a shout out to the Savory here. Savory is what the seasoning that the Mad Canadian actually puts on his pulled pork over at his food truck that he has weekly. You can check out where he and his food truck are going over at the madcanadianbbq.com and all of his social medias. The Savory is a salty, savory mix that is sure to be a favorite in your next barbecue outing. Or you can go with the Brits blend. It's the same mix that Mrs. Mad Canadian uses herself every time she makes chili. No, it's not chili weather, but hey, it's always good. It's always appropriate time to put it on some Brits blend. You can put it on to some potato salad. You can put it on anything that you want to give it that little bit of heat and savory taste to that.
Perfect on nachos and salsa.
Yes. Or the Cajun. It's the great blend of spices that will add extra something to your weeknight meals. Gives you that New Orleans treatment with Cajun from the Mad Canadian BBQ. Check out those and much, much more over at the madcanadianbbq.com. Again, madcanadianbbq.com, promo code SLOOPCAST10 at checkout for 10% off your entire order. Mad Canadian Barbecue Company, where they have your butt covered.
This episode of the Sloopcast is also brought to you by the Iron Bean Coffee Company. The Iron Bean Coffee Company is also an Ohio-based company. They are based out of Toledo-ish, Perrysburg. They are a veteran-owned company. All of their coffee is fresh roasted to order, doesn't sit around a warehouse or the back of the grocery store for weeks and months on end. It's completely fresh roasted. All of their beans are fair trade certified and USDA certified organic. Integrity is at the core of what they do. They import all of their high quality beans directly from places like Colombia, Brazil, Uganda, Honduras, Peru, Ethiopia, Indonesia, and other far off lands. Gift cards are available, free shipping over $50. There's a subscribe and save service, and they are expanding their list of flavored coffees with their new Backroom series. So if you want some flavored coffees, make sure to check out that Backroom series. And I think we'll talk a little about some of the different coffees in the next ad read. But for right now, you can just go and visit ironbeancoffee.com. That's Iron Bean Coffee, America's local coffee roaster. Kyle, I am Sans Beard.
Are you?
Oh, the YouTubers already know that. And of course, this is our special YouTube section of the show. Wow. So who am I even talking to right now? This is the audio listeners don't hear this part. This is YouTube only section, and they know my beard's gone. What a terrible special bonus section of the show so far.
I know. Good job, Jared.
Well, why don't you mock me directly into the microphone so that people can hear you?
Good job, Jared.
Listen, Gangland says that without my beard, I look like John Hamm, and I'm going to be riding that compliment for the next 2 or 3 years. So I don't know if it's true, but I'm taking it and I'm running with it like it's true.
All right.
Let's start the show. We've got barbecue back here. You're all invited. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing pretty well over here. How are you doing today, Jared?
Oh, won a fight with Home Depot, so winning that. I already told the YouTube people. I'll let the audio people know. I am now Sans Beard. We are now into full summer excursion mode. With the beard is down to a long stubble at best, and I don't know. I think that's it. I think that's it for like summer excursion Jared right now. What about you, Kyle? How's life over in the Raleigh-Durham area?
Hot. Summer all of a sudden came, and now it's just humid as heck right now. So dealing with that.
Ohio knows that feel right now too.
Yes. Yeah. But
there, you got your Weather Talk Sun card. Congratulations.
Yes. All right. We are knees deep. We are knees deep into Jared's giving me a weird look. I don't know what he's thinking here, but we are knee deep into the wasteland here. So we got a few Buckeye news here, updates, and just gonna kind of talk about a few things. Probably the biggest thing here is the 12-team playoff proposal that's come out this past week. But before we want to get into that, Caleb Brown officially commits to Ohio State. For those who don't recall, Caleb Brown is one of the top wide receivers for the 2022 class out of Chicago area. Top 60 recruit in the composite ranking and 5th best receiver in the country.
Yeah. If you listen to our episode from a couple weeks back, the one that featured Alex Gleitman, where I gave a 24-person mock class. Guess who was in it, Kyle?
Caleb Brown.
The mock survives the first commitment since the mock. That being said, I have a feeling I'm just going to say this. If I was making the mock this week, it would be slightly different already. So I survived this commitment. I might not survive the next, but it should be good. It should be fine. It'll be okay, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I still like most of the mock, but we'll see.
Now, I'm sure most people haven't seen this or never projected to see this, but Ohio State getting a grad transfer to Ohio State, a kicker out of Chapel Hill.
Yes.
Noah Ruggles.
Yeah, very talented grad transfer kicker. Ohio State looking for a bit of depth at kicker. There is a video going around of him nailing 2 straight 60-yard field goals. it was 60 yards without a rush. So, it's not, take it with a grain of salt. It's because, like I said, it was not, not with a defense in front of him. It wasn't a holder holding it in real time. There was no snap, but he did hit 2 in a row. So on one hand, but on the other, on one hand, but on the other. So there you go. I mean, he's a grad transfer kicker. Why not? It just goes to show that Ohio State will be pretty rich in scholarships this year. They won't be butting up against it. More news coming out this week. I'm not sure if this is official yet. Although I think Berm reported it, but Ohio State's down 2 more wide receivers out of their wide receiver room. It's unfortunate for the players, and I believe I'm hesitant to say their names just because I don't know if like the university has reported it yet or not, but it's not a surprise. And probably these are now the second and third players to leave out of the wide receiver room alone. And chances are we'll see more wide receivers leave. It is what it is. I'm not even sure if they're in the transfer. They're not actually in the transfer portal at this time. No, Gangland says they did not see time while they were here. It'll be good to see if they can go play elsewhere. I think out of the 2 guys going, I believe one of them's going to probably medical redshirt, or not medical redshirt, but medically retire would be my assumption. But they got their degrees, and we'll see what happens there. But not anyone who's going to contribute to the team this year. And again, no, it's fine. We'll move forward. Which is why you see, and I think it was down there in Kyle's corner, but we can jump about it real quick since we're talking about the wide receivers. Or I may have accidentally deleted it. I don't know. But Ohio State did offer a scholarship to a grad transfer wide receiver out of Jackson State. So if that tells you anything about, maybe Ohio State being slightly concerned about depth at wide receiver, especially older depth. Chris Olave, obviously a senior. Garrett Wilson will be in his 3rd year. But outside of that, it's an incredibly young wide receiving room, especially, like I said, after all of the departures occur. So you reach out, you see if you can get another experienced guy onto the field. Does he actually end up committing to Ohio State? Does he actually end up transferring to Ohio State? Probably not. Probably not.
Here's a kid last spring, 540 yards, 7 touchdowns on 27 catches in just 6 games. Big guy here, 6'3", 210. And if wherever he does commit, he'll have 2 years of eligibility. So it's not just going to be a 1 year, it'll be 2 years.
What's his name again?
It is Dalen Baldwin.
Yeah. I don't feel like he ends up coming to Ohio State. I feel like he can probably go get playing time somewhere, and I don't think that somewhere is Ohio State. I think he's good enough to go get playing time. So for what it's worth.
Yep. Agreed. All right, Jared.
Back to Caleb Brown real quick.
Okay.
Top 100 player in the country, top 5 wide receiver in the country. On the smaller end compared to some of the wide receivers that Ohio State's been getting this year, but it's been said that if you were building a prototypical slot wide receiver, this is the prototype right here. So a guy who seemed to be bound for Michigan for a while, but why would you play for Michigan? If you had better options, why would you play for Michigan? Notre Dame also was in the conversation. He's a Chicago kid, so of course, but it seemed to be Michigan and Ohio State for a long time, and actually seemed to just be Michigan for a long time. But Ohio State showed interest, and he made a good call.
Yep. Now, good call here, Jared. The 12-team playoff proposal.
Now, Kyle, you and I think it was only a few weeks back, released an episode that was titled something along the lines of why the 8-team playoff is the best choice. I don't remember what we named the episode, but it was something.
It was more than a few weeks ago, but yes.
How long ago was it? I honestly have no idea. It was
going to be over a month. It's got to be about month and a half.
It's definitely been over a month. If it's under 2 months, it's a few weeks, right?
All right. But yeah, here's a proposal here for a 12 playoff team here. So with it being 12 teams, that means that it's going to be a 4-week playoff system here. It's 2 weeks, so they're adding on doubling that essentially. So the proposal here, the 4 highest ranked conference champions, again noted, highest ranked conference champions,
yes,
will be seeded 1 through 4. Each of them will receive a first round bye, and then teams 5 through 12 will play each other in the first round, and the home field of the higher ranked team will play home. They're at their home, essentially. Yep, and it gives example of that, yada yada yada. So under the proposal, the quarterfinals and the semifinals would still be played in bowl games, and the championship game will continue to be at a neutral site as under the current format. So according to this here,
and this is not official yet. This is an official proposal, but it has not been ratified by like 3 different subcommittees or 2 different subcommittees until you get up to the original committee. God, I hate the bureaucracy of all of this. It's one proposal by a subcommittee that gets sent up to another subcommittee that meets on June 17th. And if that subcommittee approves it, they send it up to another subcommittee that will approve it on June 22nd. And then and is that the people who actually, those people might be the people who actually approve it, but this came from a subcommittee that's going up to a subcommittee that's going up to maybe a committee or another subcommittee. I lost track. But that's how these things go. Gangland, by the way, I asked why Microsoft, or why Michigan? Why would you commit to Michigan? He goes, free Jordans? Honest question. Do kids still care about Jordans? That feels like such a millennial thing to care about Jordans. Do the Zennials, do they care? I mean, I don't know. It just, for the older millennials, we saw Jordan play. And for the younger millennials, it was just a brand. And then they're still popular because it's a nostalgia brand, mostly for us millennials. Do the young kids care? No, it's just for the resale. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if the kids coming out of high school care about Jordans. And I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were looking at this new playoff, and first and foremost, this is fantastic because you are essentially now, if Ohio State wins the Big Ten, they're in. Period. And you're the only guaranteed spots are for the top 4 conference champions. But I have a hard time seeing Ohio State as the champion of the Big Ten and not in the top 4. I have a hard time seeing that happening. And of course it's possible, but I feel like the East is deep enough that you're probably not getting into the championship game if you have more than 2 losses. And again, it's not just the top 4 teams. We've seen Ohio State miss the top 4 teams in the past, but we've seen Ohio State miss the top 4 teams in the past. Sure. But was that to 4 conference champions? Because I don't think that's the case, except maybe when they lost to Michigan State, and Michigan State, guys, remember when Michigan State made the playoffs? That was a thing that happened.
Yeah, there was one year when, what Gangland said, when Georgia and Bama were in.
Yeah. So
that's the year I could think of.
You now can't have 2 SEC teams in the top 4. It's just not possible anymore.
So that part I like. I don't know that one or the LSU and Bama one. That was how long ago too?
But that was BCS before they rebranded themselves as the college football playoff. It's still the same people. Let's be very clear. The BCS is not dead. They simply changed their name and the format of the BCS.
It's like just like PayPal and Vimeo.
Yeah, something like that. Didn't PayPal buy Vimeo? That, you know what? We are not getting into it. So under this proposal, this is what last year's playoff would have looked like. You would have had Alabama 1, Clemson 2, Ohio State 3. Okay, that's all pretty standard. But you get Oklahoma 4 as they were conference champions. That slides Notre Dame down to 5. Guys, under the current proposal, Notre Dame cannot get a bye week.
Ooh, yeah, that's actually a good point there. Yeah, even with Notre Dame not being officially part of a conference, I know they were temporarily in the ACC last year, but is that the nudge to get them into the ACC every year now? Because under this plan, if it were to be approved, then approved, and then approved, and however many more it needs to be approved for this to go into effect, they essentially need to be in a conference if they want to get into a bye. So let's just say even if Notre Dame runs the table, goes undefeated, and they're not part of a conference team, the best they can do is 5th.
Yeah. Now, Kyle, do you think this means that Notre Dame's about to join the ACC?
I think so. If this were to go through, yes.
If you're not convinced that this means Notre Dame's about to join the ACC, I'll offer one piece of information for you. The group that put together this proposal, Big Ten Conference Commissioner, the SEC Conference Commissioner, the Mountain West Conference Commissioner, and Notre Dame Athletic Director. The Notre Dame Athletic Director was a part of the team that put together this proposal. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh, Notre Dame is not going to be happy when they see this, they built this.
Yep.
Notre Dame built this. They were one of 4 people who built this proposal. So to me, this means, side note, it looks like Notre Dame is about to join the ACC.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Now, if this is all ratified, if this actually does turn into the playoff proposal, then we still wouldn't see it implemented for like 2 years. We'll still have a 4-team playoff this year and the next year, at least. So that gives Notre Dame like 2 more years of independence, right? I think is what this means.
Yep.
All right, so back on track. Notre Dame falls from 4th to 5th because they're not conference champions. Again, if we apply this to last year. 6, Texas A&M. 7, Florida. Here come the SEC teams. But don't freak out yet. Number 8, Cincinnati. Oh, here we go. We're bringing the group of 5 into this, boys.
There's more, Jared.
Oh, we ain't done yet. Number 9, Georgia.
How about that?
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati in a Georgia matchup. I would have loved that.
That would have been a lot of fun. I think Cincinnati wins it, in all honesty. That being said, they wear basically the same uniform, so that would have been confusing.
Yeah.
Iowa State at number 10 playing Florida. Fun. I would have liked to have seen it. Number 11, Indiana. Indiana's in the playoffs, boys. And then Coastal Carolina. Is that who that is, Kyle? Is that Coastal Carolina?
That is. Yep. That was, yeah.
Coastal Carolina plays Notre Dame at number 5. You're
right, Jared. That did happen. Cincinnati and Georgia. That did happen. Remember?
Yeah, but what actually would have meant, you know what? It's different. Can we all just acknowledge that bowl games are bowl games? Can we all just acknowledge that bowl games are just bowl games? Everyone knows that they don't. I mean, I get that it happened, but did it? It's a bowl game. Am I just covering up because I forgot about it? And am I trying to justify it after the fact? Am I trying to hide the fact that I forgot that it did happen? Maybe. You don't want to know why? Because it's a bowl game and who cares? All
right. So in this current format, you would have had 2 non-Power 5 teams in it.
Absolutely.
Now, granted, with it being last year, I don't see that happening too often.
With 12 teams, I think it's highly possible.
I mean, You got no Pac-12 teams in here.
Wow. I had not even acknowledged that. Now, they didn't hardly play, though. They started like 2 weeks after the Big Ten played. They still had games canceled. USC played like 4 or 5 games, right? Not that Ohio State played a ton of games because they didn't, but
Wasn't many. I don't know, and I don't care to look up at this point. But yeah,
did they even play their conference championship game?
I think they did. Yeah.
They're big. Well, Oregon lost. I give one big pass to all of the Big 12 or the Pac-12. I really do. They have a new commissioner. Hopefully that fixes things. Although the old commissioner is taking no responsibility for the failings of the entire conference. He just basically said, "Not my fault. Peace."
Well, while we're at it, fire Kevin Moore.
Well, yeah, if you looked at what happened to the Pac-12 over the past few years under horrible leadership, it should make you very scared as a Big Ten fan. Very, very afraid.
Yep.
All right. So Kyle, what this means? Oh, we both went with the so. These games would have been played. I feel like this is worth reiterating because I feel like it's an excellent move.
Mm-hmm.
That these first round of games would have been played at Notre Dame, at Texas A&M, at Florida, in Cincinnati. These would have been played as home games. And I think that's a great move.
Ooh, an SEC school going up north.
Oh, man. Could you imagine Georgia playing in Cincinnati? And it would have been, if we look at this is it 2 weeks? Under the proposal, the quarterfinals, semifinals will be played as bowl games. Teams seeded 5 through 12 would play each other in the first round on the field of the higher ranked team. Where does it? I know I have it in the notes here somewhere. The first round of games would take place on campus sometime during the 2-week period after conference championship games.
So right before Christmas time, then right before, like the week before Christmas, then.
Oh my God, Kyle, we're going to see SEC teams play in the North at some point. In the North in December, no less.
Oh, we're getting our wish. We always talked about like, oh
my God,
north in November, come up north in November. Let's move that up. Let's move that up a month and say December. And Jared just walks up and says, "Yes, finally." Yeah, that would definitely be something. That would be something to see an SEC team coming up north of the Ohio River there.
Guys. By the way, they probably would have had to play that at Paul Brown. I don't know if the Cincinnati stadium is winterized. I don't know how many of the I was about to say Big Ten, but any of the northern school stadiums are actually winterized and could play a game that late in December. But it's also a pretty small stadium that they, Nippert is pretty small. They may have moved that to Paul Brown. It would have probably been cost beneficial for Cincinnati to do that, but still it's a Cincinnati home game. And I think that would have been fantastic.
There is still a real possibility that one of those teams there, imagine a team having to play in December up in Wisconsin.
Oh God, Kyle, I can't get out of my chair for a second.
Even Minnesota too.
Oh God. We're talking deep north now. Ohio, we like to claim ourselves as the North, and we are. But like Minnesota, Wisconsin, that's deep north right there. That's the deep north, boys.
Yes. All right, Jared. I know there's some more stuff we want to cover here, but let's hear from our sponsors for today's episode.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I didn't think of it till now. I cannot get over the idea of Georgia playing in Ohio in December. I can't get over it. If it's at Nippert, that's hilarious. Again, I think they would have played it at Paul Brown. But oh my God.
That would be fine.
Oh my God, I want that. I want a time machine. I want these rules instated last year now or then. It would be then.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, Jared, let's hear from our good friend over at the Iron Bean Coffee.
No, you need to go first. I need to recover.
All right. Well, let's start. I will go ahead and start with the Mad Canadian Barbecue Company. Mention a few of the seasonings in the top of the show here. Go over the box sets that the Mad Canadian has. There is the whole hog, which is one of each of the seasonings that's over at the Mad Canadian BBQ.com. You can go with the Sweet Heat. Sweet Heat is the versatile seasoning, which gives you sweet and spicy seasonings, such as the Four Horsemen, the Discord, Old Fashioned, and the Two Border. Or you can go with the Just Send It, which is their most versatile seasoning set. You don't know what seasonings to go with? I'd suggest going with this box set with Just to Send It. S&P Bud, the Sonoran Heat, the Cajun, and the Smoked get you all different varieties there from the Mad Canadian BBQ. And be sure to use that promo code SLOOPCAST10 at checkout for 10% off your entire order. Mad Canadian Barbecue Company over at the MadCanadianBBQ.com, where he has your butt covered.
This episode of the Sloopcast also brought to you by the Iron Bean Coffee Company. Kyle, let's talk about some Iron Bean coffee. Nate, Kyle, I need your help. Either say medium roast, dark roast, or flavored.
Let's do medium roast.
Medium roast. Let's start with the Ride or Die. Definitely one of my favorites. The Ride or Die is a gentle, distinctive version of the American classic, the classic American breakfast cup, Superb, when drip brewed and enjoyed black, roasted and turned with cocoa nibs, a Brazilian yellow bourbon bean with superb smoothness and flavor. You'll find caramel, hazelnut, and sweet cream notes in this coffee. Although it's not flavored, those are just the notes of the beans. A gently acidic coffee with melodic sweetness and delicate complexity, milk chocolate, perhaps a hint of fresh cut cedar. God, I love cedar. I love everything about cedar. I love the smell of cedar. I love cedar. And a shimmer of jasmine running through the aroma, through the cup to a clean, refreshing finish. If you don't want to drink that coffee after hearing that, I think you might be dead. That's just my assessment of the situation. You might have died at some point. I wish you and your family the best. Let's see. Kyle, should I do another medium roast?
Yeah, do one more here. Do one more.
All right, let's do the cast iron. The cast iron, again, a medium roast. It is a USD certified, USDA fair trade certified. Taste is smooth, never bitter flavors, subtle notes of black pepper, caramel, or caramel, depending upon which side of that argument you fall on. And lost my place. And milk chocolate, low in acidity without taking away from any strength or flavor. 100% natural. We do not compromise. And by we, I am reading this directly from the Mad Canadian, the Iron Bean Coffee Company site. Do not compromise anything with additive flavors or oils. Available in ground or whole bean. And I believe this might be, available in a subscribe and save, which would save you over $2 a bag. So you can find that and a lot more over at ironbeancoffee.com. That's Iron Bean Coffee, America's local coffee roaster. Gangland, you just said caramel or caramel. Like what? I said, hey, no matter which way you say it, you just spelled it. What is that supposed to do for me? Is it care, C-A-R-E, or car, C-A-R? That's how you would answer the caramel.
Mm.
Caramel. I think I use both. I don't know if I use one or the other, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yep, same here.
All right, Kyle. So in this playoff proposal, you would then have the winner of those games. Let's just give it to the high seed, okay? Now, this is not a bracket. This is not a college basketball-esque bracket. This works more like the NFL playoff, where you would essentially then have the highest seeds play the lowest seeds. So say Notre Dame beats Coastal Carolina, which I feel like they would have. Coastal Carolina had a good team last year, but so did Notre Dame. The depth of talent I think it's a good game for a while. Notre Dame pulls out in the fourth quarter, I think is basic. It pulls away in the fourth quarter. Nope, not going to follow that joke. So then number 5, Notre Dame would play number 4, Oklahoma. And this game would be played at a bowl site. Just so we're clear, this game would be played at a bowl site. The quarterfinals would be played either January. Wait a minute, would this be the quarters or the? Yeah, these would be the quarterfinals, and these would be played either on January 1st or 2nd. So these would be played essentially where the original playoff games, which we now refer to as the semifinals, where those are now January 1st games.
So essentially the quarterfinals are going to be your New Year's Day bowls. So that's going to be like your Rose
Correct.
Bowl games and all others.
Yeah, you're essentially then going to start you're continuing the playoff then in a 4x4 or an 8-team playoff at that point. So in this case, you'd have Notre Dame playing Oklahoma. Texas A&M would then play Ohio State. Florida would then play Clemson. And number 8 Cincinnati would then play Alabama. Now, should Cincinnati had survived against Georgia, I don't know if anyone was touching Bama last year, as we found out very painfully ourselves. Notre Dame, I think, beats Oklahoma simply because Oklahoma, like typically, has no defense. And I think that eventually that cost them, although I really don't like Ian Book that much. I don't know, Kyle. Could Oklahoma have won that game?
Could have, yeah. But would they? I don't think so. I think Notre Dame would have won.
Would have been a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State beats Texas A&M. Although I really liked Texas A&M last year. I did. I liked Texas A&M's strengths. I feel like if you wanted to beat Ohio State last year, you had to have like a real precision passing game, real efficient passing game with a real solid offensive line in front of that quarterback. I think that's about the only way you're going to beat Ohio State last year. Because that's what Bama did. A real precision passing game, very talented wide receivers, and a really nice offensive line to keep the quarterback clean. Whereas Clemson failed keeping their quarterback clean, I think is ultimately why Ohio State was able to beat Clemson, but not Alabama. So I think Ohio State defeats Texas A&M. Clemson beats Florida. Although I would have enjoyed watching that game simply because like Kyle Trask and Kyle Pitts, it was a real fun team to watch. If you could sort of get past hating the SEC teams for the sake of hating the SEC teams, that was a real fun game to watch. That would have been a real fun game. It was a fun team to watch. Would have been a fun game to watch. I think Clemson wins it. And God bless Cincinnati for making it, but they were getting buried by Bama.
Yeah. Yep. So Jared,
I agree. Gangland. Mond was not a good enough passer to defeat. Yes, I agree.
So,
although they had a good offensive line. Yeah, I agree though. I don't think Mond beats Ohio State.
So Jared, our original discussion back 7 episodes ago was why the college football playoff must be 8 teams.
Yeah.
Would you be fine with the 12-team proposal that you see here?
I'm okay. This is better than 4. I would have preferred 8. But I still like 12 more than 4. That's that. So like if we're ranking them, last place is the BCS 1 versus 2. That's last place. I don't ever want to go back to that. Next would be our current format, 4 teams. That's the next. That's number 3 in the list. Number 2 in the list would be this proposal. For me, this is too many teams. I really don't need to see team number 12 playing in the playoff. I don't want it. I don't need it. Well, here's the thing. I do want it because it's more college football. More college football equals better. So let's just get that out of the way.
Well, let's just say,
but I don't want to diminish the regular season, and I do fear by putting team number 12 into the playoff, we're reaching into the territory of diminishing the regular season.
Well, let's just say, even if this were to go forward, let's say Ohio State.
Then our 8-team proposal that we did 7 episodes ago, that's number 1 for me.
Yeah. let's just say Ohio State gets like 5th, 6th seed. They just miss out on getting that bye.
Yeah.
They would have to play 4 extra games after their conference championship game.
Yeah.
To get to the national championship game. So it's 4 additional games instead of 2. It's a lot of extra games here. I know that there's an extra game for the NFL, but I think they're taking away a preseason game or 2. But what's the limit of number of games that college football should play then?
I don't know. My biggest issue with it's tough on the players. Obviously, it's obviously very tough on the players, just physically demanding on the players. But I think we also need to talk about how this is financially demanding. Yes, on the fans, but more importantly on the families. So what are they going to do? This is going to generate a ton of money. Before we start doling out who gets that money, let's first talk about giving some of that money to the families and making sure tickets are available for the families, travel expenses for the families to make sure that they can go to 4 of these games.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are my first 2 biggest concerns with the 12-team playoff, is just the sheer number of games being put on these players. It's a lot. It's a whole lot.
You have a 12-week season, conference championship. You're at 13, and then you're playing 4 more games. Let's just say that you're not one of the top 4. You're playing 4 more games, 17 games. That's an NFL regular season schedule right there.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know what else to say to that, Kyle, except yes.
I like this proposal, but that's just my biggest concern is 4 additional games for one of the 5 through 12 then.
Yeah, that's
why we think an 8-team playoff is the best option.
Yeah, I mean, because even then you're talking about 3 additional games, but 3 is still less than 4, and like you're 3. We don't like the 4-team playoff. I don't know, and I hear someone out there saying, "Well, how often is one of the outside of the top 4 teams actually gonna?" Well,
I think 5 through 7, even 5 through 8, a legit yes. I think they can have. There's a legit chance. I mean, you can even say like Notre Dame there. Notre Dame, if the orders were switched around there, they could have possibly made the championship game, depending on like who they would play in the quarters, semis. There's a chance that they could have been that team outside of the top 4.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering last year was last year with COVID and everything, it's totally possible that Notre Dame beats Oklahoma. Then they would have turned around and had to play either Ohio State or Texas A&M. Let's say it's Ohio State. Ohio State, again, like one of the things we talked about with Alex Gleitman a couple of weeks ago. Ohio State, Justin Fields had 1 padded practice before the championship game. In between Clemson and Alabama, Justin Fields had 1 padded practice because of COVID issues with the team. You want to talk about one of the reasons why Ohio State got blown out? And there were several reasons. One of them was just they were woefully unprepared because of COVID. And so now that's Notre Dame. Maybe Notre Dame can upset Ohio State because maybe because of an injury. What if it's just Justin Fields what if not even a COVID year, like just Justin Fields gets hurt? Now you're bringing in Stroud, who's talented but completely inexperienced. Now Notre Dame defeats Ohio State and is in the championship game against Bama, playing their 4th game. It's totally feasible. I think Texas A&M was a very good team last year. Totally feasible that they make a run at the championship game from the 6th spot.
Yep. So yeah, I want to hear from those who are listening. Just shoot us a message, or if you're watching us on YouTube, I'm curious on what everybody thinks about this proposal, or what you think might be good too. Like, do you think our proposal that we had
We'll link.
Like a few episodes ago.
We'll link to it.
Yep, is an 8-team the best, or do you like this 12-team, or should they stick to a 4-team? I'm curious on what everybody thinks here. I think we're going to get a wide variety of opinions here, and I mean, I kind of like what you said originally, Jared. I like 12 because that's more college football. I can totally get behind that.
A couple of things Gangland said down here. 12 really does diminish the regular season if you're Bama, Ohio State, Clemson, others. Still have to grind to be in that top 12. Yeah, I mean, the good news is, like, does this maybe diminish the regular season a tad if you're one of those 3 elite teams?
To me, it does a little bit, but you still want to grind to get to that top 4. You get that extra week.
That bye week is insanely valuable. So yes, still getting that top 4 is good. But to counter that, guess what? If you're Indiana, Coastal Carolina, Cincinnati, in Iowa State, now the regular season means a hell of a lot more for you. So while it might diminish the regular season a tad for the elite teams, but as Kyle pointed out, they're still fighting for the bye week, it does make the season more competitive for a whole new group of teams. Because as much as we like Indiana or dislike Indiana, depending, but I do think that's a team on the rise. Now they could theoretically win a national title. Maybe not, but they could at least get into the playoffs and compete for one. And like now, if you're Cincinnati, if you're Memphis, if you're whichever Florida team is hot this year, whether it be UCF or USF or some other combination of U and F, you can now actually get your shot and not just falsely claim a national title.
Yep. No, absolutely. All right, Jared, anything else? Anything else you want to cover with us? Got some Ask Sloopcast questions need to cover here as well.
Yeah, let's get to the Ask Sloopcast question. I could talk about this for days.
Duncan from the Discord. Will there be themed game posters this year?
I don't know if I'm doing the game posters this year or not. I don't know how much attention the whole idea of doing the game posters is you do a game poster, hopefully people share it, and you keep your logo in there and hopefully it garners attention, which brings attention back to the podcast. And they are a ton of work for not a ton of attention. If maybe like, and I'm not saying that they would, because the Buckeye Scoop could probably afford a better graphical artist than me. But if like the Buckeye Scoop said to me, hey, Jared, you want to keep doing those game posters and like, we'll make them the Buckeye Scoop official game posters, I would probably do that. But again, they could probably afford someone better than me if they wanted to do that. And I don't know if it's worth my time anymore, honestly. Like, I could probably just put my time better elsewhere, especially if Kyle and I do try to move to a daily podcast during the season. I feel like the game posters is just one of the things that gets put on the cutting board, the cutting block of things I no longer have time for. But we'll see.
Buckeye Zach, will Minnesota's boat be fixed this year?
I have not really looked around to see what's happening around. I really like Fleck. They had tons of issues, COVID issues and players opting out issues, a lot of issues last year. It's hard to get a grasp on what teams are going to be like this year because of the chaos that was last year. I don't have a good feel on Minnesota yet. I do think that there are opportunities in the big Northwest. So I think there's opportunities there because I don't know, Wisconsin should be very good. Northwestern takes a step back this year. I think Iowa takes a step back, or they don't take a step forward at the very least. I don't have a ton of faith in Nebraska right now. I don't think Purdue's going to do a whole hell of a lot this year. I don't have a ton of faith in the Big Ten West as a whole this year. So there's an opportunity there if you're Minnesota.
Yep. Yeah, I was just looking at their recruiting here. Nothing too special. I mean, they got a good amount of good recruits, good handful of 4 stars and a lot of 3 stars. It's nothing that really jumps out to me. So, yeah, I mean, it just depends on how well PJ Fleck is able to develop those players. And yeah,
it also just depends upon how good Wisconsin is this year, because Wisconsin I have as my champion out of that league this year.
Yeah, I don't think the boat's getting fixed this year. I'll say that right now. I don't think it's getting fixed, but we'll see.
Well, also, like, what constitutes fixed? Is second place in the Big Ten West fixed? Because I think they can win the Big Ten West. I think second place is a lot more likely. Is if we're talking about realistic goals for Minnesota this year, I think a good realistic goal for them is second place in the Big Ten West. Is that fixed? I guess that just depends upon what you mean by fixed.
Yeah. Yeah, and Gangland brings up a good point. Mertz should be pretty good this year too.
Yeah, I like Mertz a lot. It was one of the reasons why I like Minnesota as much as I do. Wisconsin, rather.
All right. Next question here from Sunkar. How well does Ohio State fare as the big dog versus the underdog? Can the Buckeyes take on the role of the big dog?
I'm sorry. How well does Ohio State fare as the role of the big dog versus the underdog? Have you not watched the Big Ten for the past 20 years?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Ohio State does not ever see themselves as the underdog. I get they believe they should have beat Clemson the first time around. They did beat Clemson the second time around. The Alabama game, Alabama offense was insane levels of good, and Ohio State had defensive issues that we could spend 3 episodes talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State does not ever see themselves as the underdog. That's not Ohio State's MO.
No.
Ohio State has not seen themselves as the underdog in probably 10 years, at least, ever, in any situation. Not since the Tressel era has Ohio State ever considered themselves the underdog. That's not a knock on Tressel. It's just Tressel took the program from a place to a better place, and then Urban Meyer took it. I feel like that's an Urban Meyer thing. I don't think Urban Meyer would ever allow Ohio State to see themselves as an underdog. And I don't think Ryan Day is any different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, back in 2014, Ohio State was an underdog.
What is breaking news for us, at least? Of course, we won't release this for several hours, but some of you won't be listening to this for over 24 hours since we record this. But it's breaking news for us. Tyreek Johnson transferring to Nebraska. He's been out there. He's been in the portal for maybe a month. So not a surprise that he's leaving by any means. But yeah, Gangland just told us Tyreek Johnson's Snapchat, he's headed towards Nebraska.
Well, best of luck to him next year other than one game.
Yeah. Other than that one game.
One game on November 6th.
But best of luck to him.
Yeah. All right. Buckeye Zach, another question from him. We had Alabama versus Clemson in 4 parts. Now that the Buckeyes have finally jumped the Clownson hoop.
Clemson.
Yes. Is it time for a 4 or 5 part playoff dynasty of Alabama and the Buckeyes for the national championship?
That whole thing, like we've seen with Clemson and Alabama, is going to be a lot more difficult to repeat because of the new playoffs. It's one thing to have 2 teams constantly meet in the championship game when it's a 4-team playoff versus a 12-team playoff. Because there is just the any given Saturday mentality. Like, you never, ever know when you're going to get Iowa'd, when you're going to get Clemsoned. You just never know when that's going to happen. So, we talk, well, so-and-so should beat so-and-so, and then so-and-so should beat so-and-so, but should.
Yeah.
Because even if a team is going to win the game 90% of the time, they're still going to then lose it 10% of the time.
Yeah.
It sounds like an obvious thing to say, but it needs to be said.
In early last week, too, Nick Saban now extended his contract through
Bullshit.
29.
Bullshit. They're never... Yeah. The length of Nick Saban's contract means nothing. They'll never let it get anywhere near his actual retirement because it'll make recruiting look bad.
Yep.
There is zero chance in hell. Zero chance in hell. Now, when does Alabama come up to play Ohio State in Columbus? Is it 2027, 2028?
Oh, I gotta look here.
Yeah, can you look that up for me? There is zero chance in hell Nick Saban coaches a game in the Horseshoe ever again. Zero chance. Not going to happen.
Still looking. Home and home series 2027 through 2028, which so happened to be would be 2027 season would be his last one if they would let his contract expire.
Which, like I said, he'll retire with like 3 years on his contract. It's built to do that. They'll never let Nick Saban get to 1 year left on his deal, even if everyone knows he's going to retire, because that's just how recruiting works.
He's going to be 70 this year.
My point exactly. Saban's got 3.
Yeah. So that means that if he were to fulfill the entire length of his contract,
he's not.
He would be 76 when he visits Columbus in 2027.
Gangland, I'm going to read this. Maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to.
Oh, please, Jared.
He's going to shit his pants on the sidelines like Paterno soon. I wouldn't have read that, except Joe Paterno's a fucking monster. So there we go.
All right,
and so is Bo Schembechler.
You got anything else? That's all the questions we have today.
We need to take Bo Schembechler's name off of all of the trophies and take his statues down too.
Yes.
And I said this on Twitter. Do not turn this into like an Ohio State versus Michigan thing. This is what Bo Schembechler enabled at Michigan is not a football thing. It's not a rivalry fodder thing. Don't make it that. It's very serious. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google Bo Schembechler. Look at what his son had to say about his dad and what happened at Michigan. Don't turn this into like Ohio State versus Michigan, haha stuff. We like rivalries because it's like fun hate. It's like it's hate with a wink and a nod. This is actual hate. This is actual bad stuff. Don't turn this into rivalry fodder. It's far too serious for that.
Yeah. All right, Jared. I think that is all for today's episode.
Yeah. That's it. Let's one more Ask Sloopcast question from Gangland down in the live chat. Now in a 12 team, do you think those games give more film for teams with buys to develop a better game plan? Maybe you're probably talking about 2 weeks regardless. So maybe if you're team number 4, you could probably at that point start game planning Notre Dame, right? You could probably, and you put like some game planners on Notre Dame, you put some other game planners on Texas A&M, because the likeliness that both of them lose is probably pretty slim, right? So that's probably a pretty big advantage for the team in the number 4 spot versus the team they end up playing. But if you're Alabama, who are you game planning against? Because you could potentially be playing the 8 seed, the 9 seed, the 10 seed. Like it's a little bit more difficult to maybe. I think it's, but yeah, the bye week is an advantage on many terms.
Yeah. Yeah. I
agreed, Gangland.
Can it? Yeah, it could probably help. But I mean, at that point, most of the teams are a well-oiled machine at that point, that they're already going to do what they are going to do that has made them successful throughout that year.
Yeah, I just don't know if Cincinnati has the flexibility to, if you're Ohio State or if you're Clemson, you can throw weird stuff at each other. Clemson can throw some weird stuff at Ohio State, and Ohio State can throw some weird stuff at Clemson because you have so much talent and so many moving pieces. But if you're Cincinnati, your talent's a lot more shallow. So you don't have as many pieces to play with, so it makes it harder to throw something unexpected at them. You see what I mean? Because from player 1 to player 40, the drop-off at Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, the drop-off from your best player to your 40th player isn't that steep. At Cincinnati, it's real steep. It's real steep. Once you get down to player 40, you've dropped way off. Famously, Appalachian State, I think, Kyle, did they, we're not going to look it up. Someone will know, and you can look it up. When Appy State beat Michigan, they only used 30 players.
Yeah, it wasn't many. Yeah, it wasn't many.
They did not put that many unique players on the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you beat Michigan. If you're Appy State and at that time have 20 less scholarships, I think that's the FCS drop off is 20 scholarships. Yeah, it's that's how you win it. Anyway, way off track. Kyle, time to end the show. Want to encourage everyone, check out the Patreon. I talked a little bit earlier about trying to move to like a 5-episode a week format for the Buckeye Sloopcast. That's the thing we are considering doing for the actual season. Once the football season starts, doing 5 days a week. That's a huge time commitment. It would be smaller episodes. It wouldn't be these hour 10 episodes. It would be smaller episodes. But that's still a huge time commitment for Kyle and I. So we are essentially asking for the commitment to be returned to us first. If you like this show, if you have $3 a month, we have a Patreon goal in place. If we reach this Patreon goal, we will convert to doing a 5-episode a week format during the football season. That's the thing we're going to do. And we'd like to do it, but it's like I said, it's a huge time commitment, and you know, Kyle needs to justify it to his wife. I need to justify it to the dogs.
Even if you're on kind of the fence, join the Discord first. Join the Discord, see how you are, see how you like it there. Get to talk with Jared and I, talk to like Gangland and others who appear on our show in the live chat section there. It's a good family. It's a good family, I like to call us. And if you're not sure, check us out on the Discord, and if you like it and you want to see more, then hit us up from there.
And again, it's $3 a month. The lowest tier, technically the lowest tier is $1, but it doesn't get you anything. But the lowest tier is $3 a month. Consider it, is all I ask. You can join us in the live chats. You get premium access to the Discord. The Discord is both premium and free. As Kyle said, you can join the free part first. And if you want a good introduction to the Discord community, this Thursday, and you have to join the Discord to get the information to join. But this Thursday, one of our moderators and longtime listeners of the show, No Sun Card, as a frequent Ask Sloopcast guy, but he's one of the moderators over at the Discord server. He's putting together a trivia night this Thursday. So that's a fun, if you're looking for a reason to join, let that be your catalyst. Come join us. We're doing a trivia night on Thursday. Suncard did it all himself. He's the hero of the day in this regard. Gangland is already talking crap, and quite frankly, he might. My brain seizes during trivia. I don't know why. So I don't know if I'll be any good or not. But come join. Join the Patreons over at patreon.thesloopcast.com. Join the Discord at discord.thesloopcast.com. Again, the Discord's free. It's an app on your phone. You download the app. You go to discord.thesloopcast.com in a browser. It jumps you back over to the app. You create an account. Boom, you're in the server. It's really that simple. So just come join the family. come be a sloop cat with all of our sloop cats. All right, Kyle, that's all the talking I feel like doing, except maybe to say, check out the 7071 shirt I'm wearing. This is a modern interpretation of the old Canton Bulldogs. You can find a lot of modernized interpretations of old defunct professional football teams from the state of Ohio at 7071.thesloopcast.com. Kyle, are you wearing a merch.thesloopcast.com shirt right now?
I got a classic We've Got Barbecue.
That's that's the Mad Canadian's favorite shirt.
Yes.
If you go see the Mad Canadian in one of his food truck stops, there's a decent chance he'll be wearing that. Okay, Kyle, enough with the self-promotion. What's in Kyle's corner?
Got a few things here. I'll go real quick through them. A couple of Buckeye players getting paid. Justin Fields gets his 4-year contract, pretty much $19 million, $11 million signing bonus. Good rookie deal there.
Well, just so we're clear, that $19 million, that's just the guaranteed money.
Well, no, $11 million is the signing bonus.
No, it's trust me, Kyle. The contract's worth more than $18.9. That's just the guaranteed money.
Got it. Jerome Baker getting an extension with the Miami Dolphins. 3 years. Get this, Jared. 3 years extension for $39 million. Over $28 million guaranteed.
I'm really happy for NFL players because you're seeing the gap close a lot between what the contract is allegedly worth and how much of that is guaranteed.
Yep.
Which is a thing that NFL players need more of, is actual guaranteed money.
Yeah. So a couple of Buckeye players in recent news here getting paid. A couple of former Buckeye players, Braxton Miller and Troy Smith, wanting to start a prep school in Ohio, similar like you see IMG Academy in Florida.
Or Bishop Gorman in Nevada.
Yeah. I like it, but will it fly in Ohio under current rules? No. Things would have to change.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know all of the Ohio High School Athletic Association rules front to back, but can an Ohio prep academy compete with a Florida prep academy? In Florida, where they have spring football and 7-on-7 and all of these things, but you can't do that in Ohio.
Yep.
Recruiting players in the state of Ohio is difficult, although there are certainly teams that do it. Religious schools are able to recruit from other public schools. How does this work for a non-religious academy? I don't know. I believe there's the name's escaping me, but I know there's a basketball prep school that does that. So maybe it's possible, but I'm not sure. I want this to work out. I want this to work out for Braxton and Troy. I want this to work out for Ohio State, because having a prep academy in the Columbus area would be enormous. I just don't know. I just don't know if you could compete with the Bishop Gormans and IMGs of the world because of the Ohio High School Athletic Association and their tyranny. I'll say it, their tyranny. Yeah, that's right. Their tyranny.
Last thing I have here, Jared, Carman's crew, the basketball tournament, has come up with their team for 2021 season. Evan Turner and Jared Sillinger. Well, Sillinger's your coach. Turner's your GM. Buford, Leidy, Diebler, Ravenel, Caleb Weston, Shannon Scott, Keyshawn Woods, Jeff Gibbs, and Lenzel Smith Jr. will be on the Carman's crew coming later in July here.
I love watching these. That's it. But I love watching it. They didn't do great last year after winning it the year before. I hope they make a comeback.
No Aaron Kraft this year.
Yeah, no Aaron Kraft this year. Is he just done with basketball? Is that what that is?
I think so.
Yeah, John Diebler still
talks about he might have tried for 2021, but doesn't appear that way.
Yeah.
So, all right, that is all, Jared. That is all for today.
Yeah, that's it. So with all of that being said, Kyle, I didn't line up a band. Can you talk for like 2 minutes for me?
Oh wow, 2 minutes. Ooh, oh boy,
Two
Jerry.
2 minutes is a big ask.
It is. Yeah. Just looking here. See what's over at the Buckeye Scoop. Some of the recent notifications here. Um, one thing that I love talking about, and we haven't really seen too much just because of the changes with uh, kickoff returns. Ohio State hasn't had a return for a touchdown in the past 10 years for kickoff. That is,
Yikes.
yeah. But I mean, when you're able to fair catch it and essentially get that at the 25-yard line, it's it's hard to return. It's hard to return right now. So last time was on November 27th against Michigan when Jordan Hall returned a kickoff for a touchdown. That was the last time, November 27th, 2010. So last time the Ohio State returned a kickoff for a touchdown. Uh, Tony Gerdeman wrote that one out. Tom Orr wrote one about, can Oregon's defense contain Ohio State's loaded offense this year? It's a really good read there from our good friend Tom Orr, and much more over at the BuckeyeScoop.com.
All right, Kyle, I have a band ready.
Mhm.
All right, Cleveland-based band The Cloud Nothings have a album coming out July 3rd. They have 2 songs, The Story That I Live and The Mess is Permanent, that you can currently access on Bandcamp. I think they have a tour planned. I believe they're going to be at the Ace of Cups here in Columbus, Ohio, which is North Campus, I believe. So you can catch them. You can probably check out their website to find the specific tour date. But I know they're going to be at the Ace of Cups, I believe, sometime in August. Again, the album releases on July 3rd, and I'll be playing a song from that upcoming album here at the end of the show. So with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, this is The Cloud Nothings. For our YouTube folk, it's just Cloud Nothings. I don't know why I was adding a the there.
It's the is everywhere. The Swoopcast, the Ohio State University.
I'm sure that's why.
The basketball tournament.
I mean, yes, I'm sure that would be why. We haven't had one of these in a while. We haven't had one of these in a while. It's an Apollo sighting.
Oh, there's Apollo.
Hi, good boy. He's a good boy. All right, Kyle. Let's this isn't just because he's cute. This is also because he wants something. So let's go ahead and finish this show off. What do you say?
All right, sounds good.
Once again, I'd like to thank Cloud Nothings for ending today's show. And once again, I would like to thank the Iron Bean Coffee Company for sponsoring today's show. Kyle, we did medium roast last time. What should I do this time? Dark roast or flavoreds?
Do the flavoreds.
All right, let's start off with the unicorn. You don't know what it's going to be. It's just fun like that. You just don't know. It's something from the test kitchen. It's probably going to be flavored. But what's it going to be flavored like? I don't know, and neither will you. That's part of the fun. There's the intense blueberry. There's the Irish cream. There's the Dillon's grog, which is, it's an Irish grog. I feel like most breweries have an Irish grog of some sort. It's all butterscotchy and good. There's the mom's carrot cake, the mint chocolate chip. That's currently sold out. I won't say that one. The vanilla buttercream, the red velvet, the blueberry cinnamon crumble, and the ginger snap. How can you go wrong with any of this, Kyle? Can you go wrong with any of this? Because I don't think you can. Which one of those sounds most appealing to you?
The unicorn, because you don't know what you're getting.
You, Kyle, bullshit. You are not that adventurous. I know you.
I'm a light roast, so.
Well, then you might like the flavored coffees.
I might, yeah.
You might like the flavored coffees. Well, let's see. I think I had the blueberry crumble once because I think once I got a unicorn bag, and I think that's what was in it. That's my guess anyway. And like I said, I always like a good grog. Let's check out the grog real quick. Coffee combines the flavors of butterscotch, rum, and just a hint of vanilla. Roasted daily and using only premium Brazilian beans. See, I told you, how can you go wrong with that? You can't. And you can find those coffees and a lot of not flavored coffees, some medium roast that I didn't mention, and a bunch of dark roasts that we didn't mention on today's show. But you can find all of those at ironbeancoffee.com. That's Iron Bean Coffee, America's local coffee roaster.
This episode was also brought to you by the McKinney Barbecue Company. Mentioned some of their seasonings at the top of the show, their seasoning packs in the middle. I'll go back to some of their chicken rubs here. So I'm going to randomly pick some here. Chicken rubs. Since we talked about the Midwest quite a bit today, how about the OPE? The OPE, it is their in the Midwest, we have two constants: cornfields and ranch dressing. Now you can have that with a Mad Canadian twist on it. OPE is a wonderful smoked ranch blend destined to make your guests say, "Let me just squeeze by you and get some more of that barbecue." The Mad Hatter, it is a salty citrus pepper blend, great for those that love a salt with a kick. It's a great finishing salt, or to ram the glass off of your Bloody Mary. Or the Discord. I mentioned the Discord earlier today, and I'll give the Discord another shout out here. This was tested again here at the Mad Canadian Barbecue Company. And the issue we have is that sometimes one of our seasonings is really awesome in two different ways. Well, here you have the Discord. It's a different version of the Four Horsemen with another blend that was fantastic. Similar to the Four Horsemen, but with a sweeter base, and makes a great topping for your chickens or ribs. Check out those and much, much more over at the MadCanadianBBQ.com. And be sure to use that promo code SloopCast10 at checkout for 10% off your entire order. Mad Canadian Barbecue Company, where he has your butt covered.